Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we've got some incredible stories lined up for you that you won't want to miss. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some captivating stories. Let's dive in. Story 1. About 6 years ago, I was an installer for a water softener company. At first, the job was good. The pay was nice, and while it was an on-call job, the hours weren't all that bad. Once you were done with your install, you went home. You got a week of sick and a week of vacation time per year, had a retirement savings plan, and they covered a decent portion of the insurance. Not the greatest, but at least it was something. Well, fast forward a few years, and the owners got more and more greedy, buying very expensive luxury cars and charging them to the company, taking family vacations on the company dime, and even taking company money to go gambling with. I know this because I was really good friends with the controller who did their books and taxes. After a while, they took away the vacation and sick time, stopped helping with insurance, and stopped matching the retirement savings plan because they didn't make enough to cover all that and blow the money on the luxury cars, vacations, and gambling. Their excuse was that they were a small family company and couldn't keep doing it. But a few of us knew the truth. Next, they made us stay on call all day, every day, even after the installs were done, so they could cram in last-second installs at all crazy hours. Imagine showing up at a home at 8 p.m. to do a 3-hour install on a school night at a home that's 2 hours away, and they have no idea you're even coming because the owners told the salesperson to just lie to them. So you get yelled at, told to leave, get home at 10 p.m., then have to be back at the office at 7 a.m., just to show back up at the same house again the following day. This happened constantly, and it got worse and worse. Then they started purposely cutting hours. So if you got stuck working 2 or 3 13-hour days, you'd then only work 3 4-hour days the rest of the week, so you got no overtime, while some other unlucky person got stuck with a time instead, only to get their hours cut the next few days. So on and so forth. A few other installers complained and were told basically, too bad, deal with it. People started quitting, and the owners actually just told people to pack their stuff and never come back the day they turned in their 2-week notices. They were so petty, they made people who really needed the money go without paychecks for 2 weeks when they were just doing the right thing by giving notice. I had enough and had the same conversation the others did. And sure enough, after 7 years of busting my back for them, I was told, this is how we do things now. We're not changing it just for you. So if you don't like it, find a new job. Well, I immediately started looking, and after a few weeks, found a good job with a city municipality. I actually used the work truck to show up for the interview in between jobs. I gave 0 notice and just turned all my stuff in that Friday night after I got paid. When they asked me what was going on, I told them, I took your advice. They said, what advice? I said, well, you told me to find a different job, so I did. Oh, and by the way, I showed up at the interview in your work vehicle, so thanks for paying for the gas to get me there. I also returned the truck on about 1/16 of a tank, just so they'd have to fill it up. And I didn't clean it at all. It was petty, yes, but it made me feel better. Story 2. Hey all, Uncle Bobby is an amazing man and, like Aunt Rose, will feature a lot in the stories of my youth. This particular one is something that happened when I was young. I don't remember much of it myself due to the hospital trip, but we've pieced enough together. Cast, Uncle Bobby, entitled Witch Our Entitled Mother, entitled Jerk Entitled Father, myself. The ponies of America herd 20 of them. The pasture closest to the road was just under 15 acres of fenced-in area. The ponies or horses had a private pond we kept pretty clean with a few well-placed tubs of water around the place as well. We used this pasture as a way to train horses not to be afraid of cars, trucks, or buses. It worked pretty well. Horses would graze near the fence line and get steadily used to car noise. This was how Uncle Bobby trained horses, slow and steady. Some motorcycles roared by and the horses would bolt. In the pasture, they had plenty of room to run if they did spook at the sounds from the road. On this day, the pony herd was out and about in the pasture, including my pony, Lucifer. He started out his life as Angel Bear, then earned the name Lucifer when he turned 3. No more sweet, cute lover boy antics. He knew how to turn on the hose. He knew how to aim the hose. He knew how to open stall doors. He knew how to open the grain room. I could go on and on about all the pranks Lucifer would pull, but that would stretch this story to epic proportions. One thing I will mention about Lucifer is he adored mud. Absolutely adored it. He would roll in mud. He would rub mud into the sides of other ponies or horses. and he would do so gleefully. So let's say you had a herd of 20 well-looked-after ponies set out to the pasture. By the end of that first hour, you would have a bunch of muddy-looking fools. That's what happened on the day this story takes place. The herd had turned out, and we had 4 new trail ponies with the group of old pros. It helped teach the less experienced ones about how to handle the traffic on the road. Another thing Uncle Bobby insisted on. Lucifer had gone right to the 1.5-foot deep pond and waded out to find the muddiest part that he could. He then dug the mud at the side of the bank, getting himself a nice mud patch to lay down and roll in. His white fur with brown spots. Look up a leopard pony of America, and you'll have someone close to Lucifer. I was coming to the pasture to make sure all the water troughs were full and clean and fill the center feeder with some alfalfa and rolled corn when I noticed a man and woman out in the pasture. The man was trying to bait a few of the ponies closer to him, clucking at them and holding an apple in his hand. The sun had set at this point, and the couple's focus was completely on the ponies. I noticed a van in the pasture and found they'd broken the lock on the gate near the road, pulled into the pasture, and had a U-Haul trailer behind their van. I froze as I realized we were dealing with horse thieves. I didn't scream. I shook one of the buckets that contained corn, and every pony started to head right towards me. They were happy to see me. The couple was not. The man snarled that these were their horses, and how dare I trick them with food like that as he started coming towards me. He had a dog leash in his hand, not a lead rope, and a dog collar was already around the smallest point of one of the ponies' necks. I told the man as I backed up, "These were our ponies and we raised them." The man was very angry as he moved closer, talking in a low, even tone that I had better sit down and be quiet or else. Some part of my brain realized he was talking quietly, not screaming at me. So I screamed and tried to duck in with the horses. I managed to let out another scream before the man punched me in the face, hoping one of my family would be close enough to hear. I hit the ground and saw a mud ball knock into the man's side as my vision went hazy and dark. From this point on, this is from my Uncle Bobby's point of view. Me? I'm knocked out cold in the pasture. Well, Uncle Bobby heard a little girl scream and grabbed the barn rifle, the walkie, and got on Sammy's back. The two of them took off down the path to where they'd heard the scream and knew where I should be. Sammy was a mixed breed horse of Appaloosa, Tennessee Walker, quarter horse, and standardbred. He was Uncle Bobby's horse, and this boy needed no saddle, bridle, or any tack when it came down to business. Uncle Bobby rode hard down to the pasture to find a man with a hand around my ankle, Lucifer digging his teeth into a woman's arm, and the entire herd circling around in a panic. At some point along the ride, he'd used the walkie to contact anyone else nearby with. Brat screamed, "Get down to the pasture now." Uncle Bobby and Sammy did not open the gate. They flew right over the fence and rode hard towards the pair. Uncle Bobby slid off Sammy's side and aimed the gun right at the man, ordering him to drop me. He thought he was watching someone try to kidnap his niece. Well, the man dropped me, seeing the gun pointed at him as Bobby moved towards me and made the man back up. The woman screamed and slapped Lucifer hard enough that he let go and went snorting off to join the rest of the herd. The man and woman took off running for the van and trailer as Uncle Bobby checked on me. The thought of them getting away with trying to kidnap me did not sit too well with Uncle Bobby. He saw the trailer and thought there might be other young kids thrown in the back there. And so he did what a reasonable adult, armed with a rifle, would do. He unloaded every bit of ammo into the van, and when a few of my brothers and cousins showed up, they proceeded to do the same. The couple hid on the other side of the van, screaming at them to stop, and one brother went off to call an ambulance and the police. The couple was held at gunpoint while Uncle Bobby checked the trailer. He found it was empty and tore through the van looking for other kids. He was so relieved when he found no other kids in the van or trailer, but refused to let the couple go. The fire department arrived first. The medic they had attended to me, though I was mostly unresponsive. I did come to for a few seconds, though I don't recall this. The police arrived and put the trespassing, crying pair in handcuffs before getting statements. The couple tried to explain they were trying to catch wild ponies and take care of them, and one of the ponies had knocked into me and knocked me out. That didn't track with what Uncle Bobby had seen of me being dragged by my ankle, instead of carried like someone usually would over an injured child. It didn't go well for the couple at all. They swore up and down they hadn't been planning a kidnapping, but at that time, a few cities over, a few kids had gone missing. So of course, the police jumped into an investigation, as they should. This couple's home was searched, as was everything they owned. I came to at the hospital and managed to give my statement, and everyone came to the conclusion that the man had been trying to get rid of the body, which still gives me chills. After a lot of investigating, it came out that the couple's child had been to a birthday party where they had ridden one of our ponies. They wanted the pony but couldn't afford it, so they had planned to bring the pony to their home, keep it in the backyard as a pet, and let their child ride it whenever they wanted. When they had come to see all the ponies out in the pasture unsupervised, they decided to take a male and a female so they could breed their own since they had the space. The man went to jail for just under 5 years and had to pay some hefty fines. The wife lost custody of the children they had and went to prison for about a year. At the trial, they tried to explain they thought the horses were wild, despite the barn they had previously constructed in their backyard, and that they hadn't meant to hurt me at all. They tried to use photographs from the road into the pasture as evidence of abuse, and all our horses were checked over for signs of neglect. None was found. Even in the photos, the mud wasn't fully dried. I made a full recovery from my concussion, and the hoof print-shaped bruises faded away too. The couple tried to go after Uncle Bobby for excessive use of a weapon or some nonsense like that, but no one bought it. All in all, I might be the baby brat in the family, but I know if I ever need help, my family isn't far. It's a comforting feeling to know. It's also nice to have a pony in your corner. If it wasn't for Lucifer that night, I wouldn't be here to write down all these stories. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing content. We love hearing your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let us know which story was your favorite. And as always, stay tuned for more real-life stories next time. See you soon!